What's up, everybody? It's your man, Dame DNYDC. Two mics up. Today, man, this is it, man. Season finale, season three, coming to a close, and we're going out with a bang. I'm excited. Today's guest, man, y'all just really got to dig in. Sit back with me, grab a drink, cocktail, whatever you do. Enjoy today's conversation. Like I said, man, we closing out season three, episode 90. Man, the ride has been real. I appreciate you all, man, just rocking with me over the last couple of seasons. And before I even get into today's fabulous guest, I'm going to tease y'all just a little bit. I want to talk about a little news that's going on here in the DMV area. Two mics up is all about connecting the community. We're really committed to creating something greater here. And we have so much talent and so many things going on. National Harbor, for those of you who like to play golf, we got a sister Olivia Coffee, Youth Empower Me. They're putting together a fundraiser over at National Harbor Top Golf. The early bird tickets are gone now, but now they're $95, man. You get 3 hours of play, you get bottomless drinks, you get fajitas, the whole 9 yards. Come out and support. And hey, for those of you who are deep in the pockets, go ahead and be a sponsor, man. Support our friends over at Youth Empower Me. And also, circle your schedule for August 5th, 2022. Virginia Black Business Expo is coming back. Fredericksburg, DMV. Get yourselves together, stand up, come out and support all of these great businesses in our area. So without further ado, and actually, you know what? One more tease. Let's just go ahead into this.
Something would have happened to you.
Am I interrupting? We found trace residue of poison in the victim's glass and the wine bottle. We also discovered a perforation in the cork. It looks like someone used a needle.
I'm going to start right there. Where we going? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Round of applause for this queen, our sister, Nicole Danielle Watts. Huge round of applause. I'm a fan, and I'm just going to tell you like this, and let me tell you why. Let me start with this, if you don't mind, before we really get into you and the work that you do. So, as a husband, as a father, sometimes you have to play along to get along. My wife has, and she's looking at me right now, so I don't want to look at her. She's trained me well, on a Friday night, Saturday afternoon. You're looking for something to watch. You've watched everything on Netflix. We come across Lifetime, and who do I see? Excuse me. I see you, and I'm like, man. And that wasn't the only show, because you've got some other joints on Lifetime that you've been rocking with too. But I'm like, I'm noticing this sister. She becoming like a Lifetime regular. She's a hell of an actor. She's got a huge background. But I'm going to stop talking. And Nicole, please take a moment, because we about to get in your business and really find out all about you. So let's start. Where is Nicole Danielle Watts from?
Nicole Danielle Watts is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, East Coast.
I was actually born in New York City, in Manhattan.
Okay.
When I was 2 years old, moved to Philly, was raised outside of Philly in Cheltenham Township, graduated from Cheltenham High School. And I went to the New Freedom Theater in Philadelphia, which is one of the first and largest schools of performing arts geared towards African-American youth, inner city youth in the community.
Yo, see, that's what I'm saying. Because I saw, because let me preface this, because right now, can I imagine that you're in LA right now?
Mm-hmm,
and ladies and gentlemen, if you were not watching the shoulder roll from the East Coast, we still see that Philly, we still see the Philly love, and the New York. I feel it, I love it, I like it, but you can just kind of tell that swag a little bit when people start talking and they get comfortable. So I'm glad that you're comfortable talking to me today. But I want to ask you brought up some great things. School, your background, how you transit, from New York to Philly. But I also like to give a little background and ask, when we have the pleasure of having a celebrity guest on, what was your childhood like? What were some of the things that your childhood really stands out for you coming up in Philly?
Okay, that's a good one. So first of all, I come from a very, very, very loving family, raised by my mother, who's a single parent. She's no longer with us. But my family was very close knit, cousins, aunts. We always spent a lot of time together. I had a grandmother who was a matriarch from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay.
So I remember just holidays, family reunions, just being together. I was raised, 70s and 80s, where we could go and be gone all day in the summertime.
Yep.
Like my mom was at work, we got our bicycles, went to the pool.
Yep.
Listen, miles and miles away from home, never a worry. So that was, very different, right?
Right.
And Freedom Theater was a very integral part of my development as a young person. I went there when I was in 6th grade for the first year. And when I say that was my introduction to, on top of being raised by a solid Christian family,
Mm-hmm.
it really was my introduction to the sense of pride, to be a little Black girl. And, we were trained in rigorously in, movement, dance, voice. And that was back in the time where, all of your instructors, they were extended family members. You treated them like they were aunts and uncles, and they did not play.
That's
They
right.
did not play because they wanted excellence. So it really is a huge building block in terms of who I am as an artist, but also as a woman.
Wow. I love that, the love and the passion when I hear, about just embracing, who you are and your Blackness and who you were and that community feel and that foundation. And I want to ask you, like, because I think we're probably on the same age group.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But where do you find that there's a disconnect today in that in our families and I don't want to say where we went wrong, but like how do we get back to that? Because like I see when I talk to other people, like grandma, grandpa, great auntie, great uncle, that would really sit down with you. I remember Sundays being with family and just talking about my uncle would talk about war stories and World War I and show me green stamps and all of these things. That's kind of disappeared from our fabric. And in your opinion, like maybe where did we go wrong, or how do we get back to that, that real embrace of community?
Mm-hmm.
Because I really loved it. Like I don't know why that just stood out to me. Just your passion talking about it. But do you see where or how maybe we can create dialogue to get back to that? With today's kids and today's families.
That is a very good question. I'm kind of at a loss. I think the thing that was very integral in that transition was the media, the television media, the news media, and then the internet, like almost in that order.
Yeah.
So just remember, like the Cosby Show. Remember, we would all sit around on Thursday nights, wait for the show to come on. We would watch it together because that was like one of the most positive images, reflections of us that we had seen, right?
Yes.
And I think the downside of us having more opportunity, being more technologically advanced, getting more education, the downside of that is a sense of community gets lost because people are focusing more on themselves.
Yeah.
And I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday because I was talking to my daughter, because that's one of the things. I have 3 daughters, and they really don't share the same value system. And they'll tell me, well, listen, like, I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
Like
It's
own
different.
it, right?
It's different. Yeah.
When I took them to Philadelphia this past Thanksgiving, and we got an Airbnb, we had a potluck, and we had, I'm going to say, like 50 people in this one row house, right?
Wow.
That's what I was used to.
Yes.
And they were like, this is so overwhelming.
Yeah. Yo, that is so funny. I have a daughter as well. She's a little bit older. She's not a millennial. She's like that group before. But it's funny, like they do share a lot of. If she could do it, like her thing is that let's just keep it low key.
Right.
Like my wife and I, like you said, coming from New York, like you said, 50 was just like the warm up.
Right.
That was just we just getting the party started. Oh, that's the early crowd.
The happy hour.
Right, happy hour, right? So it's so funny that you made, and I love how you really broke that down because it is so true. As I follow your answer, that is a great um realization of how things have changed over time, and I really hope that we can get back to uh the wholesome, the goodness of just family, and really sharing stories, and really learning our history, solely, and as a community, and I really thank you
Yes.
for sharing that, because that was really on point and on time.
Yes. If I could share one more thing, I
Yes, yes.
think to answer your question also, I think it's about communication.
Mm,
So I went to, get coffee with my daughter and
mhm.
we had this long conversation. And honestly, it becomes like each one teach one. Like, let's talk
Yes.
about this. And it may not go back to what we remember, what we knew, but I
Hmm.
do think there needs to be more education.
Yeah.
And there's this group here on, I think it's the ninth. They are, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name, but they're doing like a harvest ceremony, and
Mhm.
they're turning over the soil on their
Oh, okay.
they have a huge like a lot of acres of farmland, right?
Hmm.
And they're doing a community effort of turning over the soil for the new
Oh,
harvest.
wow.
And so like that type of thing, like taking our children, even going with our young adult, kids to go to partake in those types of activities, maybe that's one way.
No, look, I mean, you're
Mhm.
100% right, because those things were normal, to you and I. Like, things like
Mhm.
events, I almost outings. You have family
Mhm.
outings where
Yes.
you would just do things like that, go to the farm or go apple picking, cherry picking, or wherever, whatever it was that was local to you. That was like a
Mhm.
Saturday or Sunday event. And you're right, we become so insulated in ourselves that we really don't have the sense of community or connecting with others nowadays. Like
Mhm.
you so eloquently said, earlier on. So, man, that was really. And I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. But
That's
I now, but
okay.
I hear certain things, and I wonder what others think and feel, and I'm just
Mhm.
glad that you were
Mhm.
able to share that. So I want to go to then. So now we got on a serious topic. I want to get to something. What is it that Nicole likes? Like, what are some of the things that Nicole would like to do in her free time?
Oh, my free time. Oh, I love listening to music, going to karaoke, going to live comedy shows, dancing.
So I have to say this,
Um,
y'all, and I don't mean to cut Nicole off, but y'all got to go check out her IG, because she had this joint, and I don't know where you were going, but you were talking about like takes you. This is why you always late to the party. Y'all got to go check her out, because first of all, the sister can sing, the sister can blow, but just the animation and fun, it reminded me of my aunts and them, and we be when I was younger, going out with family, and my mother, same thing, being in the mirror. And I was like, yo, this was so classic. And I can see why you love to say you have a great voice. You're very talented.
Thank you.
And everyone, please go check it out, because I must have laughed for about 15 minutes. Just like it was just so classic to me. So, and the things that you like, then Nicole, what is it that you don't like? What are the things that you don't like?
Oh, wow. I don't like watching the news and seeing only negativity.
Mm, mm,
I don't uh I don't like it when we as a community don't try hard to connect and see
mm.
eye to eye with one another.
Wow,
Um
that's deep.
and you know, I like to keep it positive. So, I don't want to be around, a lot of negative energy,
Wow.
a lot of negative vibes,
That's why I'm glad that you're here, 'cause that's what we all about here. Two mics.
Mhm.
So I mean, we really try to do things in a positive light. We try to highlight
Mhm.
positivity, and
Mhm.
I cannot tell you, and I've said it on the show before. I cannot tell you how many people that I know, man. And I'm going to say this lovingly, because I'm a clown. I'm a New Yorker by nature. We like Jonesing. We
Mhm.
snap. We Jones. We snap with the
Right.
best of them. And a lot of people that know, damn, that's not the Dame that I know. And they're like, wait a minute, that's just one aspect of me.
Right. Right.
But at the end of the day, my core, we live in a time that I really feel that we need positivity.
Mhm.
We don't see
Yes.
enough of this, in my opinion. We don't control enough of the news, media, the narratives. So why not use this platform to create that narrative? And
Yes.
I'm so honored. Like I said, when I get a chance to meet people such as yourself, it's a breath of fresh air to know that there's others out there that feel the same way, want to be seen in the same way, and give that. And it's all about that positive energy. I feel so much better uh, when I walk away from meeting people like yourself.
Mm.
And to then give that energy on to someone else is an amazing gift. And even if it's one person, done my job. Anybody listening, one person, I've done my job. And I think that's how
Yes.
we have to do it, one brick at a time, one step at a time, one person at a time. So again, Nicole and I, we on sync. I don't know what it is in the cosmos tonight, but we on the same page. So I want to ask too. Then I want to slide into another question for you
Mm-hmm.
because you are multi-talented, without question, and we're going to get into your journey. But I have to ask, if you weren't actually in entertainment and doing the thing that you obviously are blessed and love to do, what would Nicole be doing then?
Well, I'm not only an artist, I actually am a mental health provider as well.
Ah,
So I do that as well. I provide teletherapy. And all of my clients are actually on the East Coast, which is kind of good for me because of the time zone. So I can stop working early. So I've been doing that for 27 years, actually.
wow.
Yeah, I went to Howard University.
HU in the
Give me that
building.
shoulder roll
Hey,
again.
I see HU in the building. Go ahead. Go ahead. You do it. Go ahead. Wow. That's
Yeah, no,
pretty
I
awesome.
went to
So,
the University of Maryland, College Park undergrad, Howard University for grad school. And I practiced in DC for 15 years, actually, in the DC area before I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I was there for about
wow.
12 years before coming here to LA. But if I were not doing that, I believe in community service. I'm also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and all of that, all of those things kind of come together to create, my commitment to the community and to uplift, and unity and things of that nature. But I think if I wasn't in social services or mental health treatment or entertainment, I think I probably would want to be in advertising
Hmm.
or maybe international affairs of some nature.
I can see
I
that.
was I only speak English, but I would have to learn a new language.
I love it. So then, speaking of that, like so, all of that, because amazing. I wish I, well, not that wish I would have known, but we got to have you come back on because we have touched on mental health
Hmm.
issues here on the show, and it's really become something that we really try to keep in the forefront, especially with the pandemic, um, and then so many other challenges that we're facing. So I would definitely love to keep your mind and reach out because I think that is something that we're going to continue a conversation on and have you come on and really highlight your skills in that area. But I would want to know too. Then listening from your background, what was it or when did that light go off and say, you know what, acting or really, I want to say probably for you it's probably theater first.
Hmm.
It really made you want to kind of get into that route and really dig in. What was that aha moment for you?
Yes. So I have been performing since I was small.
Hmm.
And I mean, you know how you have those pictures dating back to your Christmas pageants at school, and
Hmm.
you know your little crown on.
Yep.
But anyway, so yes, I have been performing, as long as I can remember. Musically, uh, dance. I'm an African dancer. I started that though, in my early adulthood. But I had a family and wanted to focus more on being able to obviously be a provider and,
Hmm.
make sure my children had a certain experience. And then when they got older, you know, and particularly when the oldest two were, when I was more of an empty nester, I decided, I think I'm going to give it a shot.
Mm.
My mother passed away in 2001,
Wow.
and when she was only 54. So when you have a
Mhm.
parent that dies young, it makes you think about your
Yeah.
mortality. And I
Hmm.
said, I never want to be older feeling like I have any regrets, that I didn't
Yeah.
go full force in anything that I feel like I have a passion for, or that I was gifted, that the creator gave me a gift to be able to do.
Hmm.
So I was actually encouraged by several friends, one of whom is in the entertainment industry. He's like, listen, you look 15 years younger than you are. You got some time.
Do it.
Go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
And so I told somebody the other day, when I win an Oscar, he's gonna be one of the people that I have to thank, because I wouldn't be here,
That's right.
if it weren't for him. So, I decided to come on and give it a shot. And it's been difficult. It's been difficult. It hasn't been easy because all of my people are on the East Coast. So I, literally am out here now. Two of my daughters moved out here since then.
Hmm.
So that's been great,
Right.
But it's been 6 years that I've been here, and it's been a journey, but I feel very blessed, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress, and I can see, I can see the road ahead, the vision
I
of
see.
what's to come.
I man, that's so amazing, and it's got to be hard. Like I said, kind of really uprooting yourself
Hmm.
and really transplanting yourself, and then doing it by yourself and immersing yourself into a whole new environment and really a different culture, because being on the East Coast is,
Yes.
it's
Mm.
yeah, it's a really total different culture.
Hmm.
But you speak of your journey, and I have to ask then, can you maybe talk about, what if some of the challenges may have been for you that you faced along the way to getting yourself to a point to where you are now, where I look and I listen, you seem like you're in your spot right now. And
Mm.
you're at that point where now you've kind of went from that bottom, and now you on that uprise, and
Hmm.
that smile kind of says like you hitting your groove. But what did it take for you? Some of the other things that it took for you to kind of get to where you are now.
Oh, it's so many things. It's so many things. I mean, seriously, like all of this, and then you plop a global pandemic in the middle of it, right? But we're gonna skip that for now.
Okay.
But goodness, prayer,
Hmm.
spiritual enlightenment, and groundedness.
Hmm.
So that requires receiving guidance, insight, ministry in solid environments
Hmm.
and from solid individuals, having good mentors, um, and wonderful friends. I have a beautiful circle of family and friends who lift me up. My line sisters, like I'm always getting, just encouragement and positive feedback. And a lot of people have shared with me, some of the people I went to school with, maybe that I'm not even that close to,
Hmm.
have said, it's so inspiring to see this journey, this unfolding, because it's such an example that it's never too late
That's right.
to make shifts, to
That's right.
follow dreams, to take
That's right.
risks.
Hmm.
Um, but I will say that if I were to do it again, I would do it a little differently, because I literally jumped in. So you know how you hear those stories about Tyler Perry sleeping in his car and Tiffany
Hmm.
Haddish, but I didn't have to struggle because I had a career and and degrees, right?
Hmm.
But I said, you know what? I'm gonna go for broke. I'm just gonna dive on it.
I see where is this
I wouldn't
going.
do it like that. I would not do it like that again. I would not. I would do
Oh.
kind of what I'm doing now, where there's a balance,
Hmm.
So I work as a contractor, and then, I do my auditions, and I'm able to adjust my schedule to be on set and to, shoot films and stuff like that. That's what I would have done.
Mm,
Because
wisdom.
one thing we have to remember is you gotta eat, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's right. That's right.
So there is
And
that. And LA is not to be played with. You know how expensive it is here.
whew,
So it's just, you have to really have a plan.
mm,
When I first moved here, my mother's friend from college, who has a daughter who's also an artist, she's a vocalist, a jazz vocalist. And he took me to lunch, and it was not too far from Hollywood, where the ArcLight Theater is,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
He was walking me down the street, and he said, a lot of these people came here with, a
Wow, with a
dream.
dream. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so I do think that that happens when you don't necessarily have the resources and the education and the opportunities to support your journey, and also don't really understand what you're really kind of getting into.
You speaking on that, and even with that, like you say, for you, uh, it may have been a little later in the game, but even with all of your wisdom, you still were not ready or prepared, for that challenge. And I'm just reiterating that because again, I'm really big on it. I'm hoping that someone is listening to this who may want to, get into acting or get into entertainment, really understands, what Nicole is saying here. Even with all, really having her own career and everything that she did, you gotta have a plan.
Yes.
And it really touches me when this is the thing about I've been to LA, or several times, and that homeless row, or I
Skid
forget what
Row.
Skid Row, yes. It's real people.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people out there that were successful at one point, that didn't have a plan. Or like Nicole said, a lot of people come out there with a dream. Dream never made it. So this thing is real. So really have a plan, for if this is what you want to do, for a career. And this makes me think. So because you were so versatile, really working in theater, for a lot of, because I know you have an extensive theater career. New York, Philadelphia, I believe Charlotte, some of the places that I read. So like your theater career is extensive, but how does stage, I guess, differ for you? And what was that like, being on, TV or the big screen? Like, what was the pivot and change? Like, oh, this is different.
So I love theater. It's
Okay.
like I always say it was my first love, before I knew a guy, right? Before there was a guy to love, it was a theater to love, any theater, right?
Right.
And I would, when I was making the decision, about making this change, I considered New York. I said, well, you know what? That Broadway grind, that's some serious.
Yeah.
You're talking about 3 shows a day,
Yeah, man.
2 years of, and I was like, okay, I wanted a different type of experience also economically, to be quite honest. So I said, I'm going to go to LA. Plus, I wanted to be somewhere where I would really love living there. I knew how much I loved LA. I love LA. The sunshine, the openness, the diversity, the landscape, like you can be in one area, looks just like New York City, another area looks like the Bahamas, another, you know what I mean? It's another area that looks like South Carolina. It's really interesting that way.
Right.
So the thing about the theater is a live audience. So it's real time. It requires all of your focus, all of your attention, and there's immediate feedback, and it feels wonderful, especially musical theater, And so I had to transition. I remember my first couple of classes, my friend who I had spoken about earlier, he was like, because he knows we were in Freedom Theater back in the day together, right?
Wow.
He was like, you gotta stop that stage acting. Like it's not gonna work here. It's a different tone. It's a very different tone. And so I had to take class. And this is another thing that I would recommend any artist continue to educate yourself,
Okay, right.
But I had some really, really good coaches. So I took commercial class from a really, really, really solid commercial coach. And then I took other classes as well, for auditioning technique and things of that nature. But I took an on-camera class that made all the difference in the world. So what they're doing in the on-camera class is they're basically showing you how you look. They're giving you the tools to have the relationship with the camera that you need to have. And that's something that people don't think about. So think about a model. And you know how you've seen, Top Model and everything. The model is having a relationship with this camera. Your eye contact, your focus, where it goes into that lens.
Right.
That's the same thing with film and television acting. Maybe a little bit more so film, but definitely, obviously, you don't have this idea in theaters. So what I learned in on camera technique is how you position your body, how to be conscious of the sounds that you're making and things that you're doing to make it easier for you to be directed. And my
Oh.
last Lifetime movie, the director is like, "Wow, Nicole, like, thank you," because what it does is it makes them easier to do their job. They don't
Mm.
have to tell you where how to act to the camera, to how to
Mm-hmm.
open your body up,
Mm-hmm.
how to when you're working with another actor, you're not actually supposed to be looking directly in their eyes. You're looking towards the camera, like in between them and the camera, if
Mm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Little things that you wouldn't ever think about, and it makes all the difference in the world. So the point is that you have to study to make that transition. And now I love it just as much. Like listen, I'll do a musical theater production any day, but I love being on set also. It
Mm.
just it's the lab. It's like a musician loves a set, you know, a
And you can
studio.
tell.
It's just the best
Y-
thing in the world.
You can tell, and like I said, just watching you, just talk about, that's really, and again, the visualize what you're saying. So that's really what, for me, like I said, when we talked earlier in the intro, what really caught my eye. You have a presence when you're seen on TV and the camera. And again, I know nothing of it, but now I look like the intro that we played of you in that little clip. It was very clean, very crisp. You were in a position like see me, but it wasn't see me. But we saw you. We saw your presence. We felt your presence. So I do understand what you mean now. But most of us, to the blind eye, would not know. And again though, so my daughter who's a film major though, but those are the things that she does tell me though. But Dad, look how she stands. Or in certain films, you can tell she, her biggest thing is about black and white directors. Some white directors don't know how to film or cast light or
That's true.
on so just little things. So I pay attention to stuff like that, and that's why I said I was blown away um with you and your work. And I was like, man, we got to take a shot on this one. And we're gonna reach out and see what we can do. And like I said, I thank you for spending time with us here this evening. And look, I'm gonna stop and we're gonna take a quick pause for the cause.
Hmm.
I want to shout out our sponsors, who have been a huge help here to the success of Two Mics Up. So we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after the break. What up, what up, what up, everybody? We back out the break. It's me, your man, Dame D, NYDC. I'm sitting here with the amazing Nicole Danielle Watts. I'm sorry. I'm looking at something over here that I should be. Nicole Danielle Watts, actress extraordinaire, theater extraordinaire, TV, vocals, all of that. Check her out on IG. Follow her. Follow the work that she's doing. This is amazing. If you're just really tuning in, I don't know how you tuning in now and you missed the first half. Go back to the beginning. Y'all heard me say this. Stop right now. Don't listen to nothing else. Go back to the beginning. You really want to, even though if you're listening to this, streaming this, you want to hear this from the beginning. And if you're watching this, I don't even know why you went to the second half. Just go to the beginning, watch this from the beginning, and get all the gems, all the great conversation that we had in the first half. But talking about Nicole, Danielle Watts, I want to know because there's more than just that. Because I believe there's we dug up somewhere. There's a brand that's sitting. And can you talk about what that brand is?
A brand?
Yeah, like Nicole Danny Watt, doesn't she have a brand? Like who?
Oh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So if I think of my brand, I think of a woman of faith and from a rich culture
Mm. Go ahead now.
who wants to tell stories to eventually tell stories that uplift and educate
Mm.
and inspire
Mm.
and promote, ideals,
Yes.
not just for people of color, but for society, because I do believe that we have to be enlightened and educated together if we're going to
Mhm.
survive this life together.
Phew.
And the time of being separated, we can no longer thrive in that way. It's just not going to work. So um, I feel like I have the ability to, have a diversity in my work.
Mhm.
So I like to have a lot of fun. I enjoy comedy. And I think, and I recently got a new agent with Aqua Talent in LA now, and she was asking me something very similar, like, how do you see yourself as far
Mhm.
as the standard role that you would like to play, for example?
Right.
We got the matriarch, we got, hardcore
Yeah.
detective,
Yep.
police officer,
Yep. Yep.
um, lawyer, you
Mhm.
know. But I would love the opportunity to do a biopic or a biopic, however they say it,
Right.
or even a musical gone to film,
Okay.
like The Color Purple, or
I can see that though. I can see
something
that.
like that, a period piece.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's really about just a reflection, a positive reflection of a rich culture
Mhm.
that is grounded in people of color, people
Okay.
of African descent.
I can see that coming from you. Like you have that power. You have that flair, that zhuzh that can really cross over into a lot of different arenas. And I would anybody listening, we can put it from your mouth to God's ears. Yo, get Nicole in a musical. Like I said, yo, the woman can sing. Like get her in a musical. Like she bad with it. Like real talk. No, like no juice here. Um, but even thing. So now we've moved to the brand, and we're gonna move into something a little more fun as we come around here on the back end.
Hmm.
And we're going to do a little something with you, Nicole, that we like to call this or that. And these are just, either you're going to go with this one or you're going to go with that one. We're going to just kind of leave it real simple right there. Okay. So we're going to
Okay.
start off in the morning. They say that breakfast is, very important food for your body. So we're going to start off with either bacon or sausage. Which one would you prefer to sit down with in the morning?
Well, I don't eat meat, so neither
Oh,
one of
see,
those.
and see, I knew, and you know what was funny? I said what we talking about. I said, I'm telling y'all, why does she strike me like she doesn't eat meat? And I was like, you better put turkey bacon or put some type of tofu or something on there. And they was like, it's told ya. I don't know why I knew that.
But, there are, vegan versions of those.
Hmm?
If I had to choose, it would be veggie bacon, which most people think is like really gross, but I like it actually.
uh, I'm not one to talk. It's gross. I've tried it. You can get me to do turkey or something like that, but that, yeah. The veggie one, nah, I'm going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So next one, then we're going to go to, since you're an entertainer, horror movie or a comedy movie. Which would you prefer?
Comedy.
Comedy? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite comedy?
Oh my gosh. You put me on the spot. Favorite
Ah.
comedy. Okay, I can't think of, there's so many movies that I
Mhm.
think are hilarious. I mean, I don't even want to name, like Anchorman I thought was really
Yo,
funny.
great one. Great one.
But you know what I really think is funny that I laugh at? That show that Kevin Hart did, The Real Husbands of Hollywood.
That's a funny show. That is a
That
funny
thing
show.
used to, I haven't watched the reboot, but I used to really
Haven't
get a
you?
kick out of that. What's another funny comedy movie that I really laughed at?
So
Oh, the one, uh what was the one with Regina Hall and Kevin Hart? And
okay.
oh my
Why am I drawing
goodness.
a blank? I think I know what you're
Last
talking.
I can't remember the
See,
name of it.
see,
But anything with Regina Hall in it, I think she's very funny.
yo, she's a queen. She is hilarious. Go back to the scary movie days and all of that. Like real, and her evolution has been great as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll go to then. Let's get into technology.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a tablet person or a laptop person? And I got a feeling, even with this one, I knew I should have threw on the phone because I got a feeling you a phone person. But
Laptop.
laptop, okay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
fair enough. And what we got? We'll have. Let's go with another one. So, would you prefer, or is it a nice car or a nice home interior?
Nice home interior.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kind of over the car thing. And want a nice, comfy home. So to close out this or that segment, then again in the entertainment field and going to movies or even being at home, would you prefer popcorn or would you go with the Juju dots and Milky Way candy at the movie theater?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Okay, see,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like keep it nice and simple. I'm more of a
Mm-hmm.
well out here they have the what do they call it, like the little pretzel dough, like the little holes or whatever with the
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
more. I don't know. That's bad. I don't. Yeah, I know. That's bad. That's bad. Stop talking. Over here, they were like, that's bad. All right, so we go next segment. Before we close, we're gonna try to get into a little pop culture. We're gonna have a
Okay.
little fun with a little pop culture here. And we're gonna jump in with. Let's start here. So, what former Nickelodeon star is also the longest running member of the Saturday Night Live cast?
Keenan
Yeah,
Thompson.
yeah, he's still that he's still rocking. I mean, they might as well just go ahead and name the show after him. He's still
I
getting it.
know. Yeah, SNL is one of my favorite shows, actually.
Yeah, it still is. I mean, he's great and he's still doing great things. So next question then: how many total members have been in the group Destiny's Child?
Total, I think five. No, four.
It's actually been six.
Oh, six. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
everybody usually forgets Lil Farrah or Latavia for the original.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay, so they started off as four people, then they interchanged the fourth person
yep.
once, and then okay, got it.
Yeah, so I see if I can hold this up here. We have Beyonce, Kelly, Michelle, Latoya Luckett, Latavia Robinson, and Farrah Franklin, who were
Oh,
some of the old crew school.
okay.
Uh, Next
Eh.
question then. Hey, yeah. And you talked about this earlier. What former supermodel was the host of America's Next Top Model?
Oh, Tyra Banks.
Yeah, that's Tyra Banks, fool. Everybody know Tyra Banks. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and put a pin in this amazing conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please go out and support Nicole, all of her work, follow her across her social media, wherever you can find her, go ahead and support. And before we go, Nicole, I want to allow you to please go ahead and share, anything new that you have coming up next, where we can find you, your social media. Please take a few minutes to just go ahead and unload before we go for today.
Okay. Let's see. You can find me at Nicole Danielle Watts on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. I think I'm Nicole Danielle Watts on TikTok as well. But Instagram is probably my primary social media platform that I actually use. And I just shot a Lifetime movie.
Mhm.
called Sinister Cover Up. I play one of the leads. I play the mother of the main character, and I go to jail because they think I killed my husband. So it's pretty intense.
That ought to be. That's a stretch. Okay.
And that should be released. It'll probably be another 6 months or so.
Okay.
So let's see. I have a couple of other small projects that I'm working on, and I'm not really sure what the release dates are for those.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you with my little plug for Suge Avery in The Color Purple in case anybody's doing it.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Please look here. Let me go ahead. There you go. Bam. All you take it away. Yes, you can.
Sister, you've been on my mind. Sister, we're two of a kind. Sister, I'm keeping my eye on you. I bet you think I don't know nothing but singing the blues. Sister, have I got news for you? I'm something. I hope you think that you're something too.
Right here. Yeah, I only get that here on Two Mics Up. Nicole, thank you so much. Yo, you dope. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you spending time with me this evening. And really just chopping it up, yo. Great energy,
Thank you.
great person, man. And I look forward to seeing more of you on Lifetime and coming to the big screen, stage, whatever, whenever you back here on the East Coast. Let us know, send us mail. We'd love to come out and see you, love to come out and support you. And like I said, continued success to you and all that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll make sure that we put all of Nicole's information, IG, Facebook, Twitter, down here in a little note section. Make sure you go ahead and click the links, follow along, and continue to support Nicole and all that she's doing. Lastly, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and just share, this is our final episode for season 3. Season 4, we opening up the books. If you want to become a sponsor, here on Two Mics Up, advertise your business, expand your footprint, highlight your goods and services. For season 4, can you say TV? I like TV. We might be working on a few things that, we're expanding our market here in Two Mics Up. So feel free to send us an email, contact us on our website, social media, and super shout out to our season 3 sponsors, TD3 Insurance, Riddick Entertainment, Bubbles and Bruce Philly, JMI Income Tax. We thank you for your support. And ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it this time. You can follow Two Mics Up online at www.twomicsup.com. You can follow us across our social media, IG, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Two Mics Up. And like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out. And Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you. You are so welcome.